What does it take to reshape the world, not through ideas or invention, but through the force of will, steel, and vision? In the harsh, endless expanse of the Mongolian steppe, where the wind cuts like a blade and the earth offers little mercy, a boy was born to a minor chief. His name was T. There was no prophecy, no sign that he would become one of the most feared and revered figures in all of history. As Temujin grew, so did his understanding of power, loyalty, and survival. He had united the warring Mongol tribes, something no one had achieved before him. The steppe, once divided by old rivalries and endless feuds, stood beneath one banner. They called him Genghis Khan, universal ruler, and with that title came a storm that would sweep across continents. He believed in merit. If you could lead, you rose, regardless of your bloodline. In a time when lineage was everything, this was revolutionary. Resistance meant annihilation. Yet those who submitted were absorbed, protected, and often prospered. He broke empires, but spared scholars. He raised cities, but fostered trade. It only deepened them. He was paradox incarnate. His administration tolerated religious diversity, encouraged commerce, and created a communication system that stretched thousands of miles to Yam, a relay of riders that made the vastness of his empire feel connected. But millions died in the path of his conquests. He built and he destroyed. He was feared and he was admired. Centuries later, the echoes of his empire can still be felt in the borders of nations, the patterns of trade, and the myths we tell of power and destiny. Or was he, like so many figures in history, simply a man shaped by his age, and in turn, one who reshaped the world? He left behind a realm that would be expanded further by his descendants, stretching from Korea to Hungary, from Siberia to the Indian subcontinent. The Mongol Empire became the largest contiguous land empire in history. He learned that alliances mattered, that strength alone wasn't enough. You had to bind men with trust, or fear, or both. When his father was poisoned by enemies, the boy's tribe cast him out. He was only 9, left to fend for himself and his family in a world that devoured the weak. Not just swift raids, but methodical, relentless sieges. Genghis Khan understood the art of war in a way that startled even his enemies. His armies were fast, disciplined, and merciless. They studied siege techniques, used intelligence networks, and crafted strategies that broke even the most fortified cities. But hardship carved him like stone. Hunger, betrayal, exiles weren't just obstacles, they became his teachers. By 1206, after years of bloodshed and diplomacy, Temujin had done the unthinkable. The campaigns began in China. But he wasn't only a warlord, that's too simple. Genghis Khan implemented a legal Kodio Sadat, promoted order and unity. By the time he turned westward toward Central Asia, Persia, and the edges of Eastern Europe, his name was already legend. Cities that defied him often vanished from maps. Genghis Khan died in 1227. Likely from injuries sustained during a campaign against the Western China. But his death didn't end the questions. Was Genghis Khan a visionary leader who brought order to a fractured world, or a ruthless conqueror who soaked the earth in blood? History rarely gives simple answers. He was both. His legacy is tangled in contradictions. The Silk Road flourished under his rule, connecting civilizations that had once known nothing of each other. In the end, Genghis Khan's greatest legacy may not be the empire he carved into the land, but the mark he left on time itself. If this journey into the heart of the Mongol Empire stirred something in you, share your thoughts in the comments. Was he a tyrant or a genius? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again for more stories where history breathes, struggles, and lives. Because history is never just about the past. It's about who we are and who we choose to become.